Hey guys, good to see you again. My name is Ben. I'm a licensed clinical professional counselor. This is Deep Space. Welcome. Glad you found it. We're just talking about mental health and life and stuff here. Today we're going to be talking about stress. It fits really well. To be real, it's been a really stressful couple of days for me. I'm kind of in the middle of a crisis of sorts, and it has not been awesome. It's not been my favorite. It's been actually pretty stressful, and it's actually got me thinking a lot about how I handle stress and ways that I can be better at it and things that I can be more intentional about. And I thought I'd share some of those with you, just kind of what I'm working my way through and how I'm attempting to handle it. So yeah, we're going to be talking mostly about what to do in a crisis, how to handle a crisis. My stuff has felt pretty crisis level, and I've been pretty, I felt that thing I know that you're probably all familiar with. Oh, and by the way, Mom, I'm okay. It's going to be fine. I'm going to be okay. It's nothing to worry about, but it is pretty hard. So, yeah, this is the stuff that I'm trying to do to help with that. So maybe that'll help you feel better. But, okay, so the thing that I've been feeling with this crisis, with this stress, that is a very legit thing. You've got to pay attention to it. You've got to recognize it is the way my body is handling it, the way my body responds. So the way this works, our bodies have a significant response to crisis, to stress. If we fire up all kinds of stuff that is dumped into our body, that when our brain assesses threat, when we're stressed, cortisol is the big one. If you're familiar with cortisol, if not, Google that. You can learn a lot about the way your body works just from simply what cortisol is. But adrenaline and a lot of things that get you ready to throw down or run away. And I've been experiencing those. And the main effect of them, and kind of what I want to talk about today, is just that they make it really difficult to think straight. They make it really hard to make good decisions. They make you really want to wear your PJs for your video because you're pretty worn out and you don't really want to think much. And so sitting in front of a camera and talking about stress is about the only thing you want to talk about. And those other video ideas that you had, Reddit AMA coming soon. Sorry, Josh, we didn't do it today, but today sucks. But yeah, look for that. That's going to be really fun. We were going to do it today, but we'll do it another time. But instead, we're talking about stress because I've been stressed. And so my body has just been inundated with cortisol and adrenaline and this thing that made these chemicals that make my feet bounce, and they make my palms sweat, and they make it really hard to think straight. And so, when my clients experience that, when I experience that, there's really a pretty cool antidote to it. It's something that you've got to practice. You've got to work on it. It doesn't fit every stressful situation. Sometimes you need to bounce. You need your feet energized. You need to be able to have more adrenaline than you do kind of what we're going to be talking about, which is basically the antidote to, not necessarily the antidote, but your best hope is mindset, is to just try to keep your head. So a couple things that we can talk about how to do that. And there are things that I'm working on too, clearly. So first of all, mindset. Pretty ironic right now that mindset would be the thing that I really am talking about, because it's the thing that I'm lacking. Mindset, it doesn't fit every situation. It can be really helpful to just recognize what's going on in your body. So a good way to tap into that is to get used to assessing your body. So watch the way that you handle all kinds of different situations in life. What makes your hands sweat? What makes your forehead sweat? What makes your heart pound? What makes your gut tighten up? What gives you energy in your feet in a way that makes you want to get out? What makes you excited? What makes your body aroused? All this different stuff that our body is doing, it's really helpful to be able to identify that. It's really helpful to be able to stay on top of it and be able to see it coming, be able to understand it as it comes. So with stress, one of the things to keep in mind is mindset will help you to see that stressful response happening. Right? It will help you to understand that there's more going on here than just what I'm thinking about. And in fact, it might be helpful to know I'm not thinking as clearly as I would intend to be. Right? So what this does is it puts us in a position. I see more often than not in myself and my clients, when we're in stressful situations, when we're in a crisis, and we get all worked up with adrenaline, with cortisol, with stress, we often will try to attack the thing. We'll try to attack the thing that, the problem, right? But we're not thinking very clearly. We're not totally present for it. So we're just dumping all of our energy into a problem that we're not really as equipped to solve. I mean, yeah, if it's a fire in the building, then that cortisol and that stress and that energy, yes, that's equipping us to get out of the building. But if it's this kind of the stress that I'm having, where you need to be able to think clearly and communicate and be able to see your way through a complex problem, that just get out and run isn't going to help us. So mindsight can actually help us get to the part of us that is going to actually be helpful, instead of this fired up limbic system, this fired up sympathetic nervous system, this thing that's getting ready for war. If you remember back from my video on racism and hate, it's that same sort of thing, right? It's this animal in us that's just like, hey, I got this. This chimp that's saying, I'm ready for battle. I'll take over. You don't need to think. You just need to survive. But that doesn't always fit. It definitely doesn't fit with what I'm going through right now. It doesn't fit for a lot of our stressful situations. So mindsight can help us recover the part of us that is actually meant, that is going to be more helpful for us facing the thing that we're actually up against, which might require more thought than it does more action. And when we attack, so when we attack that problem as our primary thing, we get wrapped up in it, and sometimes it'll just spin. We'll make it worse. So instead, what I recommend to people when I'm trying to work on myself is that as I apply my intentions, right? I'm using mindsight. I see, okay, whoa, stuff's going down. I'm riled up. This is not a good place for me. Instead of trying to attack the problem that's stressing me out, which I'm probably not going to be able to make go away by throwing monkey poo at it, like the chimp in me wants to do. Instead, what I'll do is apply myself to, Ben, stay calm. Do the stuff you got to do. Recognize, okay, your feet want to bounce. Your hands are really sweaty. Your heart is pounding. What can you do right now that can calm yourself? Right? So if I can, I take a little walk. If I can get a minute, I'll take a minute. If I can't get a minute and I'm in the stuff, I will inaudibly, so people can't even hear it, I'll just start taking deep breaths. And I'll just follow the breath with my mind, and I'll just dial into, okay, I got this. What am I going to do with this? Yeah, my body's freaking out. Yeah, my body's having a response, but that's not where I'm going to go. I'm going to instead go with me. Right? And so clues that that's happening, or, when I'm experiencing those things physically, it helps me to know I got to do that process. I've got to start focusing on how do I calm myself more than how do I make that thing go away, because I'm probably not going to be able to do that, but I can have an effect on myself. I can have an effect on how calm I feel. I can affect that thing. So that's something you've got to practice. You got to work at it. I'm working at it myself. I've been practicing for a really long time, and I'm getting better at it. Today went better. Yesterday went better when I can just look at it and say, okay, I'm here. Get present. What do I want to do with this? How do I want to handle this? And how can I apply myself and my intentions towards calming myself down and getting myself right? Again, cortisol, you can just watch it. Just watch this video and you can see the stressed brain compared to my other videos. It's very, very different. So another thing that you can do to help clue you into that it's really simple, and it almost feels kind of like hippie therapist stuff. And I know in my PJs I kind of look like the hippie therapist, but just literally look at your hands. Just feel your hands. Just get some sensory input that you're present. Right, that your hands are there. Sometimes in my clients, you have probably seen me do this. This guy, just giving yourself a little bit of sensory input and giving yourself a little bit of can you feel that hand on your neck? You're there, you're present, you have a body, and your body's doing stuff right now that you probably don't want it to. That's probably not all that helpful, but you're a part of it and you have a say in it, and you can actually apply yourself. What you're doing in that, it's really cool, and there's all kinds of really cool research about mindsight. And mindsight is a huge part of what I do at Deep Space, what I do in my office, what we do here at Deep Space, what we're often talking about. Mindsight is just about understanding, and when we can understand what's happening in our bodies, and we can address it in a different way. What happens without mindsight is we get into a situation where we almost lose our identity, we lose ourself, and we just become more reflexive and more autonomic. We're more animalistic. We just do what we feel like doing. Mindsight helps us to recover our identity, to get back to ourselves. So when you're just feeling that energy in your feet and you're feeling the sweaty palms and the pounding chest and the tightness in your stomach and the vision going, tunnel vision, all that stuff, if you're just experiencing that without mindsight, you become that. And you do whatever that says it wants to do, whether that's helpful or not, whether that's healthy or not, whether that's even like you or not. That's what our bodies are doing. What mindsight allows us to do in a stressful situation is it allows us to dial out of those reflexes and back into, what do you want to do? How do you want to handle this? And you can do what you want to do, and you can handle it the way that you want to handle it, even if your body's flipping out. Your body might be super stressed and telling you to run. You might be in a situation where it might be dangerous, and your body's telling you it's time to throw down, it's time to fight. It might be your mind that saves you. It might be your mind thinking clearly and saying, okay, what do I actually want to do with this? You see it in all kinds of really horrible news stories of like, wait, like this shooting in this school or whatever, like they waited for the dude to reload. It's because their bodies are locked down. These students that or victims of crimes who have sat there and waited for the murderer to reload, to shoot that guy and now to shoot you. Their bodies are locked up and they can't move. And so if you've ever wondered, like, why do they do that? This is why. If you've ever wondered, how do I do that better? This is how. You got to recognize it's going down. Stuff's happening. What do I want to do? How do I want to handle that? And then you side with that. Stress, anxiety, fear can get so overwhelming that it can lock that down. It can be really hard to jar that loose. It can be so overwhelming. I don't at all mean to judge people that have been a part of situations like that. It's your mind and your ability to stay with you and stay in your body and have mindsight that's going to lead you through that. Best of luck to you guys as you work your way through that. I'm in it with you too. I'm working on it. The way that I'm trying to do that is I'm trying to practice as often as I can. This is the last thing I'll leave you with this. If you want to practice this, you want to grow this ability, you want to work this muscle, you want to take this part of your brain to the gym and get it pumped up, the way you do that is you continually practice mindsight. You do it even when you're not stressed or even when you're just mildly stressed. Just dial in, and the best way to do it is just to become aware of your breath. Like meditative breathing is really, really cool for this. It grows this ability in us to just follow the breath. Every time we do that, it's like a rep. It's like a rep at the gym of that part of us that has the ability to see what's happening inside of our bodies, to dial into that, and then to stay in the part of us that's doing the seeing instead of just reflexively doing the physical stuff. Good luck with that. I would love to hear your experiences with that if you've got comments. As always, if this is the kind of thing that you enjoy, feel free to hit like, subscribe, share this with anybody you want, anybody that's going through some stressful stuff. Again, my name's Ben. This is Deep Space. Thanks for joining me. I love you guys. Take good care of yourselves. Bye-bye.